Hey, it's Benji Cole, son of Al Cole from CBS Radio and host of the syndicated talk show People of Distinction, the talk that gives an in-depth view of some of the most dynamic, intelligent, and of course, successful people on the planet. Run to our website, peopleofdistinction.org, for more info, or you can always email me directly through benji@alcoleenterprises.com. And people, we are very excited to showcase this next guest here on our network, so do me a favor. Sit back, strap in, and get ready for a wonderful ride. And on the line with us today, we have Rebecca Borchardt. We're going to be discussing her amazing book, In His Arms, God's Healing Love Series, Book 1. Now, it's available for purchase through Amazon as well as barnesandnoble.com. But people, if you want to gather everything that Rebecca has in store, well, do yourself a favor and head directly to her personal site. And that's RebeccaBorchardt.com. There you'll find more information on her, more information on this fantastic book, as well as find the hyperlink set up to take you to the purchasing pages. So one more time, that's RebeccaBorchardt.com. And before we go any further, I want to take this opportunity and point out that Rebecca was brought to our network, People of Distinction, today by one of the best advertising firms in the business. And people, you already know I'm talking about Quantum Discovery. So listen, for my writers out there, if you have gone through your process, you have invested countless amounts of hours creating your narrative, and you finally have done it. You've completed it. You're at the end of the road, but you realize now you need help moving the book you just created. Well, if that's you, contact one of the best literary agents in the business in Quantum Discovery. I'm telling you, their fantastic team is standing by to assist you in all of your creative endeavors. So head on over to quantumdiscovery.net today and gather all of the ways that their fantastic team is going to help you do just that. And listen, it is an absolute pleasure to have Rebecca here on the line. I'm telling you, people, her book, In His Arms, it's something special. Okay, Rebecca Borchardt is a name you need to know. It's a name to be reckoned with. And this book is nuanced and layered in so many ways. It is a fictional narrative, but it has some substance, right? It has a grounded foundation that you're going to be able to take to the bank. It's all about forgiveness and perseverance. Now, I'm not going to go too much into detail in terms of the narrative itself. I'm going to hold that off and give that to Rebecca. But people, we understand that life is filled with adversity. Life is filled with obstacles, and I've been through my fair share. I'm sure you have as well. And sometimes forgiving an individual for something that they have done to you may not be very easy, or something that you even want to do. But I'm telling you, it's something that you should. And as you travel along this journey and you follow this main protagonist and realize what she has gone through and the power of forgiveness that she establishes and how she's overcome all of that, you're going to realize what I'm talking about. And you're going to realize that this is a book that, even though it's entertaining and it's for, helping pass the time, as I mentioned, it's grounded in something special that you're going to be able to learn from. And it balances it beautifully, where it doesn't come across preachy, but the lessons are there. And at the end of the day, don't take my word for it, take Rebecca's. It's her book and she's written it, so she's going to be the expert and be able to articulate it much better than I ever could. So sit back and strap in. Rebecca, first and foremost, welcome to People of Distinction, and thank you very much for being a guest. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I am fantastic, Rebecca. And, just to add a little levity here, quick side note, you know how often I do these interviews and I ask everyone how they're doing? And nobody ever asks how I'm doing, Rebecca. And listen, this is going to be a great interview just because that's how we're beginning. And if that's how we're starting, it's all uphill from here. Thank you very much. I'm doing fantastic. And again, joking aside, Rebecca, I think what you've done here is something special because you found a great balance between having a narrative that's fictional, that is entertaining, that people can utilize just to help pass the time, but also is grounded in some substance, right? Has some really powerful messages and a foundation that it stands upon. So I want to congratulate you for that. Thank you for writing the book, and thank you again for being here with us to discuss it. Now, before we jump into the words on those pages, Rebecca, let's start off by telling our listening audience a little bit more about yourself. Who is Rebecca Borchardt?
Well, I grew up in a little town, Sparta, Wisconsin, and happened to grow up in a very Christian home, and I gave my life to Christ when I was 10. In school, I was in choir throughout middle school and high school, and had the opportunity to perform at Carnegie Hall with one of my singing groups.
Wow.
I've had a job as a lifeguard for 7 years between two different full jobs, along with tutoring and babysitting, all while going to school. I went to college and received a certificate in sign language, and then moved on to an associate's degree as an administrative professional, and then transferred and got a bachelor's degree in business management. And while I started my bachelor's degree, I met my husband online on the Christian website. We got married that same year that we met, and we moved to Wausau, Wisconsin, which is where we live now. And I started a job as a temp at a moving company for about 9 months, and then started at a bank as a temp and got a job full-time there. And after I had my first child, I quit my job and I became a stay-at-home mom, which is what I do now. And I volunteer at my church for a mom's group and go to Bible study there regularly. And now we have 3 children at home and another one on the way.
Wow. Congratulations to you and your husband, and of course the rest of your children as well. That is a magical thing, and so many things that I want to uncover. I personally have never been to Wisconsin, although I've known a few people from Madison, Wisconsin. When I was in graduate school, I was very fortunate to meet a couple of people from that area. And I've heard nothing but great things. And I've always wanted to travel there. The cheese curds I've had, and those are pretty incredible, okay? So if for nothing else, I need to travel to Wisconsin and get some cheese curds again, because it's been some time. But listen, again, congratulations. My wife and I have one little princess, and hopefully working on our second there. I think 2 will be enough. I don't know if I dare try for a third. But listen, again, nothing but continued success to you and all of your loved ones. And Rebecca, without further ado, we got to jump right in. Now, I wanted to initially go into the book, but I'm still going to hold off because after that response, I can't see myself going anywhere else. Now, you mentioned your background and different experiences that you have had, although, Rebecca, I didn't hear anything about writing in that background. Now, certain jobs may have had writing that it, involved, but writing wasn't a big thing that I came across. So I want to start with inspiration. What inspired you to embark upon this creative writing journey?
Well, writing started in middle school, and I just had stories running through my head. Kind of like I would think of the worst case scenario that could happen in any situation, even if that situation or scenario never happened. And if the story would flow in my head to make it long enough for me to write it out, I'd write it out and have fun with it. And even in middle school, some of my friends would steal my notebook and start reading my story, and then I'd play around with them and change the story up to make them really mad at me, just if I did something crazy. But that wasn't how the story actually happened. But this story In His Arms was actually started in middle school, and throughout the years as I matured and grew up, I evolved it to be more mature, but this one was the first book that I ever wrote.
Wow. I know one of the underlying messages in the book is about perseverance. Well, my goodness, you are living testament to that notion, because you said you started this in middle school. To have continued to work on it and perfect it over all of these years, I mean, that takes a lot of dedication and, of course, perseverance. So we love that. People, I'm telling you, we could not have selected a more perfect embodiment of a person of distinction to be here with us on our network today. Rebecca, without further ado, the anchor is all about your book, In His Arms. Tell us a little bit more about it.
In his arms is about a young lady named Stacy who goes through a lot of things during her senior year in high school. Mm-hmm. It starts out with her trying to work through some bullying that is happening to her at school. And when that escalates, it brings out a lot of other problems and emotions. And throughout all the tragedies that she works through, she remains strong in her faith and goes on to forgive those who have hurt her.
You know, this is a journey that when the opportunity presented itself to have you as a guest with us on our network, the reason why I felt that this was such a compelling book is I think it resonates tremendously with the public. And people, you may not be able to relate to every single aspect that this main protagonist goes through, but we all know adversity. I mean, as much as we would like to avoid it, life is filled with obstacles. Life is filled with adversity. But we learn through those experiences, and wisdom is acquired from that. And I recognized and I really saw myself in certain ways within your main protagonist. And I thought that that was something that was so profound and so compelling that it would resonate with an audience at large. So I'm loving what you're talking about here. Now, you mentioned that this was a book that originally began when you were in middle school. I'm curious, was there any particular situation that may have sparked this main protagonist and the journey that she embarked upon that connected to maybe what you were going through in middle school, or something else, some other variation to it that you thought this journey and this story kind of developed from?
In elementary and middle school, I wasn't per se bullied, but at the same time, I wasn't always the popular person in school. But I would be the friend to everybody whenever they needed a friend. And so I did have friends that wanted to be popular, that they would ditch me to go hang out with the popular kids instead of hanging out with me. Mm-hmm. So I just played off of those situations in my head, and that's how the worst case scenario came out to the story that is here now.
Yeah. Well, listen, I mean, you said a mouthful there, Rebecca, because we've all been there, okay? I have definitely been there quite some time. And some things I choose to just sweep under the rug. But again, the bridge is formulating, girl. I love this. People, again, Amazon, Barnes & Noble are where you got to go. Make sure to check out her personal website because, as I mentioned, it's a one-stop shop for everything that Rebecca has in store. That's RebeccaBorchardt.com. Check it out. Gather information about her. Gather information about this book, as well as purchasing your copies. So head on over there. Once again, that's RebeccaBorchardt.com. Rebecca, curiosity for myself here with this next one, but what would you say was a highlight for you in this writing journey? Or if not a highlight, because maybe highlight carries the wrong connotation, maybe something that surprised you that you weren't anticipating before you began on this journey?
A lot of different things can come out of anything, and I just felt led to tell this kind of story and show God's healing and God's power and forgiveness into him to be able to forgive those that have hurt them, even if it is a very big tragedy in their life. He can give you the power to forgive those. You may not forget the situation, and you may need to forgive them every single day, but it is the work of him who can help you get through any situation that you've been through. And he has been a staple in my life for a very long time, and I trust in him to give me what I need when I need it, and it's his will, not mine.
Yeah. Rebecca, my background is in filmmaking. So I love to kind of be in my imagination and really just travel down that rabbit hole with whatever project it is that I'm working on at any given moment. So here with this next one, I want to dive into the world that you've created. And, if you could enter that world, Rebecca, and you could choose any individual page to land on and actually live in, right? And actually experience yourself, which page would you choose to land on and why?
The coming together of the church to support her in all of the tragedy that she goes through, because she is very vocal about all the things that happened to her during the year, and she's part of the worship team at the church that she goes to. And there's one scene where she is really struggling with the day, and the pastor starts praying over her, and then all the congregation comes and joins and prays over her to give her comfort and strength and know that she's not alone at all.
I love that message. I love that. I love the image and I love the message, and it really ties to what we stand for here through People of Distinction. You know, people, I talk about all the time the connectivity amongst our human family. And listen, you may not look like me, you may not come from the same background as me, but I promise you, when we really stop and analyze it, there is much more that connects us than separates us. And in many ways, I feel that that is the message of God, right? That is the message of religion, Christianity, whichever religion you particularly follow, but having that unity, coming together in the strength that we have when we do that. And that is something that's symbolized in this book that I think is so amazing and really something to be mindful of. Because again, as I mentioned when we first began, what I think this book does beautifully is balancing the entertainment side, but also coupling it with a grounded foundation that really can teach you some fantastic lessons. And I get it. Listen, it's a fictional narrative, and you may not connect to that main protagonist from face value, right off the bat. But when you really start to read between the lines and you talk about that particular scene that she just mentioned, people, can we envision the world that we would have if we all operated from that perspective? And we all came together to support one another rather than tear each other down. And listen, I get it. I'm not living in a different world, right? I understand where we are in today's day and time and how divisive we are currently as a community and as a society. It's going to take a lot of work, and I'm an optimist, so I believe in it. But I think a book of this magnitude and the messages discussed is the precipice of something great, if you choose to take it there. And this book has it, man. I love what it represents. You know, my follow-up question, Rebecca, and this is something I've been holding off on, but I can't hold off any longer. All right, the full title of your book is In His Arms, God's Healing Love Series, Book 1. Well, I mean, one can easily delineate. If the title says Book 1, there must be a Book 2, at least possibly on the future and in the horizon. So that's my follow-up question here for you, Rebecca. What's upcoming? What's next for you?
Well, first what's coming next is I'm having a baby. But after that, I am going to continue working on publishing books, hopefully. And I have 2 in the works for this series already.
Wonderful. So the series, potentially, as of right now, is a 3-part series. Hopefully many more on the horizon. And you know what you all can do at home by going to Amazon, Barnes & Noble, RebeccaBorchardt.com, and purchasing your copies. By the overwhelming show of support that we can give her, that's going to be the notion to really let her know, Rebecca, we need another one, okay? This book is great, and we want to continue to travel along this journey with you. People, it starts with you. Head on over there today, pick up your copies, get lost in all of it, because this is something you want to journey on. I'm telling you, it's pretty amazing. It's pretty fantastic to really get lost in. You know, as we start to close out of here, Rebecca, I do want to pay it forward in a sense, right? I love having the network, People of Distinction, in this platform to utilize as a microphone, not only to showcase artists' work, but also to pay it forward in any way whenever the opportunity presents itself. Now, as I mentioned, my background is in filmmaking, but you are a writer and you are a bona fide pro. You have written your book, you've gotten it published, you have more on the horizon, so you have wisdom to share. I'd love to take this opportunity from a writing perspective. Rebecca, how do you deal with the vulnerability that comes with showcasing your book to the world, knowing that the moment you put it out there, you leave yourself susceptible to some criticism? But that didn't stop you. You still overcame that and put it out. How do you overcome that vulnerability, Rebecca?
You just have to believe in your story and trust that some people will enjoy it and like it, even though there may be critics out there that don't enjoy it.
Yeah.
You just have to keep on believing in your dream and in your book.
Listen, people, at the end of the day, ain't nothing to it but to do it, right? Just put the pen to the page and put it out there. And I love what she said. Not everybody is your audience. Not everybody is your reader. And that's okay, because there is a community out there for you to listen to that voice. And you know, again, we're circling back. We've done a complete 360 because now we're back where we began. The book is about forgiveness. It's about perseverance. And a lot of the notions that she brought up establishes that perseverance through and through. You all know where you got to go. You all know what you have to do. I said it before. I'll say it again. It's Amazon. It's Barnes & Noble. It's RebeccaBorchardt.com. Head on over there today. Pick up your copies. Get lost in this wonderful journey. Because like I said, it's something, if you need something for entertainment to help pass the time on a rainy day, the book's got what you're looking for. But if you want something that has that substance, that has something that you can feel good about reading and then learn from, if you choose to open your eyes and take advantage of it, this book's got that too. Head on over there today. Pick up your copies. Get lost in all of it. And like I said, hopefully keep checking back in frequently, and we'll have some more on the horizon, of course, after the birth of her next child. Rebecca, this has been a true pleasure, an absolute delight. Thank you once again for being a guest on People of Distinction.
Thank you for having me.